Hey everyone, and welcome to Desrin Does. I'm Desrin, and today we're doing another patch notes review for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen's first patch into Season 1, about a week after launch. The main bulk of the patch dropped right after the monthly Q&A on Thursday, February 22nd, 2024. And as always, quick reminder that these are not all-inclusive patch notes. They only come from a couple of the design team members usually, but if I do find or hear anything that's not in the notes, I do try to add them, the little extra bits in when I can. Also worth noting, there have been a few little hotfixes as well, and there may be a couple more to hammer out as those last high-profile bugs are gone before the devs wipe, which should be the last wipe for the foreseeable future, hopefully. The current situation is that the devs are going to be working on the next big build over the next 4 weeks or so, pretty much heads down. So this is probably what we're going to be playing on for a good while, potentially until, everyone is in testing together. But just want to let everyone know, since I know a lot of folks are kind of waiting until that point before they start playing again, after that kind of somewhat rocky launch with the XP and loot bugs. Which we'll get into. Actually, let's just do that. I'm going to reorganize the notes a little bit here to make it flow better this time. Hopefully that helps everyone kind of stick together here. So let's start with the main chunk of the patch. And the initial patch I think the build number isn't the current one, so I'll give that later. But first off is a really cool thing. And I'll just read this out. After the next wipe, players will be able to make and use any character on any running server. This is subject to change in the future, but for the time being, your characters will not be locked to a particular server. So yeah, for the foreseeable future, you can just hop servers as you may, which is very convenient. And honestly, I hope it continues for at least a few seasons, because it's really nice just to play with other people. Now, the known issues, I'm going to start with these. And I'll throw these up on the screen. It's pretty much all of them are from the last patch, but the two to note that are the group gathering is still broken, unfortunately, which is super sad for me. But also, if you're on the lower graphics setting, which is called fast, confusingly enough, it's causing a weird little visual bug around cave entrances, but it is just a visual bug. Once you go in, it's fine. But yeah, the rest of them are up on the screen. So, but to the actual updates. So under the general area, we've got some macro updates here. Hotbar ability buttons can now be triggered in a macro with the /use command, such as /use1 to trigger the first ability button, or 1 through 8 on your active abilities, right? Now, this is a little clunky because you still have to use that macro window. But it does mean you can now use abilities in macros, which is something a lot of people were asking for. So I expect to see some funny messages, I guess, soon. Also, double tapping the target self key, F1 by default, it's going to target your pet if you have one, and it isn't already targeted. Just a pretty standard MMO keybind there. Avendir's Pass updates. Got additional food and alchemy gathering nodes have been added to some parts of Avendir's Pass. This was something that was a bit missing on launch, and they're just kind of finishing out AVP there on that note. Or at least a bit of AVP that we have. Now, NPCs. The merchant Volus has last seen fleeing into the mountains after it was determined that the goods he was selling were of dubious origin. This is just a fun little thing for testers to find. You'll see. If you're in testing, maybe try to find him. Several NPCs have been reminded of the importance of handing... I'm just going to say, they're joking about floating NPCs, hovering NPCs. Just a reminder that you can use the /LOC to get your exact location for bug reporting any of these, if you do see these after this patch. Now, onto items. The Deathbound flag has been removed from many dropped items that were not supposed to have it. And if you find any other deathbound items, please report them so they can make sure to get them all. And if you're wondering what this is, it's the opposite of lifebound. As in, these are items that would always get stuck on your corpse. So kind of a remnant of 247, but they did say there are other uses for that flag. So, the flag's not necessarily going away, but right now I don't think they really have a use for it in the current game. Now, classes is what most of you guys are probably here for. Clerics now receive Frail Barrier at level 3, Weak Barrier at level 10, and Barrier at level 18. Now, if you remember, the Barrier spell was added last patch, like a week ago. So now it's been extended out into a spell series that gets, progressively stronger. Also, Purify now only cures weak poisons. Clerics now receive Cleanse at level 15, which cures weak and strong poisons. Now, this is just another little progression thing, and worth noting that you don't really see strong poisons at lower levels anyway, so yeah. Also, Clerics receive Remedy at level 5, which cures diseases. Now, Clerics have a poison and a disease cure just coming standard, while I think Shamans have to get their, I want to say, disease cure from drops. So that's just a little class differentiation there. And still some Paladin changes. Actually, a Paladin addition. Paladin now receives Valiant Cross at level 6. Now there's another new Paladin ability. I believe this one is a kind of frontal cleave ability, which excitingly, that would be the first signs of Paladins becoming one of the more AoE focused tanks, as they kind of mentioned over the last several years. Is kind of the goal for Paladins. Now, one of my personal favorites is the audio section. And now a lot of work from PBL audio guys is starting to get into the game here, which I think was held back for the initial season 1 release. So really neat. We've got new ambient sounds for AVP in the day. They call this the sketch theme music in AVP. Implemented dynamic music based on the time of day, which is interesting. Composed new music for night and day in Thronefast. New music for the Goblin Cave, even. Some mix audio in their audio system called Wise. Sound effects audio for trees and ambient objects in AVP as well. I was wondering what was off when I was in AVP, and I think this is it. This makes a bigger difference than you might think. And develop new music for night in Thronefast. So a lot of new music, a lot of new sound effects. Great stuff. And you know what, here, I'll just throw up the list of bug fixes, kind of like I did with the known issues, and I'll just pick a few relevant ones, but if you want to see the full list, here it is. But to summarize, the main issue with Season 1 launch, which is the XP and loot bug being just kind of just insane and chaotic, that seems to be fixed as of now. Seems to be testing fine on the servers. Few gathering node fixes, some improved client performance in Caves and Avenir's Pass, some lighting and visual effects fixes. This is not the big lighting pass that they're talking about doing. That is about to start, I believe. Fix for some NPCs not being able to move. So, sorry, casters, your free ticket in Avenir's Pass is you can't just shoot mobs while they don't move anymore. But it's probably good that's fixed. And obviously some pet fixes, as you'd expect with pet classes just going into the game literally a week ago. So, lastly, like I said, there have been some hot fixes. I'm not sure if the current build is going to be what I have here when the video goes out. But as of the build ending in, I think it ends in 8653, they seem to have fixed the new kind of big bug, which is the high crit chance bug, which is allowing us to just crit and hit like crazy on red mobs. That's fixed. Some other loot bugs, some audio issues also fixed. So as of recording, I think they're trying to get kind of a final fix for the new big issue, which is the crit issue. allowing us to like hit and crit red mobs like crazy. So I think that's fixed. And also the final big ticket one, which I don't think is fixed as of the time of recording, is the getting stuck in combat bug. I think they're trying to solve that before they kind of put their pencils down for a few weeks there. So yeah, as far as I know, after that, we're kind of in the clear. So yeah, that is going to be it for the patches this week. Thanks again for joining me, everyone. And if you're still here and enjoy these patch notes reviews, please, of course, subscribe to the channel and like the video for the kind of best chance to see the next one pop up. So feel free to leave any comments about the patch notes below, and I'll try to answer them. Also, since this dropped right after the Q&A, I'm kind of wondering if you guys might enjoy me making a Q&A summary video. Whenever these go up, they are once a month, so it's not like a huge, big thing, but they usually come out at over like an hour, so I figured like a lot of you guys might want something a little bit shorter, so just let me know if that would be something you guys would want on this channel. And with that, have a great day, and I'll see you all next time.